All right, and we are live. Everybody check your Facebooks. We should be up and going.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Oh, I should have grabbed my other.
Perfect. Why does it say this thing on here though? Live your comments. Click on the comment that's showing the screen. Okay, we know. How do I take that off? Oh, here we go. Hey, Tiff. Tiffany's in the building.
Hey, Tiffany. Hey, sugar.
Hey, girl. Welcome, everybody. This is the Girl Go Collective's I See You Sis segment. So if you were not at the first annual Girl Code Collective conference last weekend, you missed a whole lot. But we are bringing a special segment called I See You Sis to the internet waves. And we gave away our first I See You Sis award last weekend to none other than Jasmine A. Joseph of My Budget Binder out in Sacramento, California. Yay. So we're doing our first segment with none other than Margarita. Like, duh. So I'm so excited to be having this conversation tonight with Margarita and these amazing people. We have Octavia and Jeff on the line with us right now, or on the screen, I guess. I'm so used to my conference calls, y'all. But tonight we're gonna have a very, very special unboxing party. I am so excited. I've been with Margarita through this entire process, y'all, and to see her growth, to see her tenacity, to see her keep arguing back and forth with God about what she ain't gonna do.
Don't we all do that?
Has been hilarious. But nonetheless, here we are because of her obedience. I think Bianca's coming in the room. Let me see if I can get her on. Bianca, hey.
Hey.
Your sound is perfect.
Hey, Mom. That's my mother-in-law.
Hey, Mom. Welcome to the party.
Hi.
So, Bianca, we were just doing a brief welcome, letting people get on up in the room really quick. Make sure y'all sharing this on y'all Facebook.
Okay.
We are live on YouTube as well. Streaming.
Yeah.
For your viewing pleasures. All right, so we're gonna do introductions really, really quick. Margarita, you want to introduce the people, introduce their titles, give a little background. Hey, Regina.
Yes. Hey, sister. Hey, Mo. Okay, so I will start with Octavia. Me and Tay go way back to college days. She was one of the first people I met in college. We stayed in the same dorm. And she was my pregnant buddy. She fed me and KJ when I was pregnant with him my freshman year in college. Her and Rufus held me down, which was her pickup truck, y'all. It was only 2-seater, okay? Couldn't but two of us get in it, okay? But Rufus took me to Subway every night because the little boy loved Cold Cut Trio, and I just used to be like, not, and she handed the keys out the door. She already knew. Like, didn't even ask no questions, like, here's the keys. And me and Rufus was rolling up the Subway. Getting that. And she named KJ Tiger when I was pregnant with him. That was really about to be his real name for real. But my mama was like, it's a no. Okay. And Octavia spent so many weekends with me and my mom coming home from college. My mama fed us. Octavia can attest that my mama is the best grape Kool-Aid / pink lemonade maker in the world.
Okay. Yes, indeed, baby. Yes, indeed.
So we have been knowing each other for almost 22 years because my son will be 22 in May. That's how long I've been knowing her. So, and my boo Bianca and I go back to like elementary school days. Her cousin lived next door to me, and she spent lots and lots of time, and we played together, had sleepovers. My mother loved her mama, loved her some Brenda Gay, okay? And so we've been knowing each other forever and a day. We grew up together, like even though we went to two totally different schools, in our small town area, we still got to see each other often on the weekends, sleepovers, everything. So, and she is also my grief share buddy. She is one of my grief witness. When I'm feeling weird and need to get some things off my chest, I will text her or call her, and we end up laughing for like 2 hours. Okay, so that's how long I have been knowing her. So I've been knowing her for, it seems like forever, since we were little. And I met my bro Jeff on Clubhouse. He used to come in our We Lit Off God rooms. And one day he shared his testimony about his grief with his mother and moving from one job to the other. And God was like, yo, like ask Jeff to write something in your book. And I was like, God, I don't know that man.
Right.
I'm not gonna ask that man that. I don't know him.
Wow.
Like, why would I do that? Like, and God was like, just ask him. I was
Wow.
like, okay, God, because I already been doing what you said for me to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and do it. And he did not even hesitate. Like, he immediately said yes. He was like, what do you need? You want me to write it? You want me to say it? Like, what you want me to do? And I told him I just wanted him to speak from the heart and share his journey with grief with my readers. And literally, like, he did it. And so I'm forever grateful for these three, for their participation in my book, for their obedience to God, and also for their obedience to me. I know how hard it is to, you know, go down them grief streets and pour your heart out into something that we all hold close to the chest, because it's not easy to share your grief with any and everybody. So for them to go out there and put it out there for, you know, my readers and for me, I'm forever grateful, you know, to them for saying yes to me and saying yes to God. So I thoroughly appreciate it. So
this is a whole movement. I just want to honor you, Margarita, because this looks like, and y'all listen, Margarita and I met on Clubhouse as well a couple months ago, but it is amazing what God will do when you're obedient. Yes, Mom, what a joy to be obedient. Listen, so who or what is attached or assigned to our obedience, right? And we know that obedience can be uncomfortable, just like everything else when you're walking in, when you're being intentional. But sometimes God will have us stop in our journey to do something that we've never done before. And because it can be intimidating a little bit. Like, God, I've never done this. I don't even know what you're talking about. Are there even people that will buy this thing? Like, what do you mean you want me to do this, right? And to say yes to God when you can easily say no, you know? When you say yes to God, you never know
Right.
on the other side of that yes. And because of your yes, you have touched countless lives already before Grief to Glory. But now Grief to Glory is literally popping up in people's mailboxes every day this week. And as you begin to read it, the prayer is that their hearts will be softened to receive. That they can partner with your words and with your journey. And I am excited for the healing that is about to hit this nation and this land because of your obedience. If anything else, we need to heal, right? We need to stop
absolutely
acting like grief is a cuss word. Stop acting like Black people can't heal and like we're not supposed to talk about the things that we're dealing with. And so I'm excited for this body of work, this act of obedience, and for this conversation tonight. So if you're tuning in, I'm your girl Ashley Speaks. This is the Girl Code Collective I See You Sis segment, and we are chatting with Margarita Hill, the author of Grief to Glory. Okay? And we have Jeff with us, we have Bianca, we have Octavia. They also wrote portions in the book with her. So we have a segment, we're going to do an unboxing, a live unboxing in a few minutes. And I hope y'all are excited.
Finally, y'all.
I've been waiting to open this box all week.
Because listen, Jeff has been messaging me on Instagram every day. It seemed like he's like, yo, I want to open it so bad. He's like, and I love getting
Bro, it was sitting
packages.
on my kitchen table looking at me like, open me, open me. I was like,
Bianca
they
was
wouldn't
like,
know. They wouldn't know. How would they know? How would they know?
Y'all obedience is about to pay off
Bianca
in the
said,
future.
I had to get my
Wow.
daughter to hide it from me. Like
Lord.
She gave it to me a few weeks ago.
So I thoroughly appreciate y'all for having restraint and not opening these boxes. But before we get started, I wanted to say something because one of my best friends is on here, Renee. She just said hi to Renee. And I think my other best friend, Sparkle, is on here. And so I dedicated this book to my mother. I dedicated it to God, and I dedicated it to my husband and my kids. But I left 3 important people out for me. I left out my best friend Allie, my best friend Renee, and my best friend Sparkle. And their names are mentioned in the book, but I believe in giving people their flowers while they're here. And so I wanted to say to my girl Sparkle, aka Sprinkle, I'm so grateful that you came into my life. Even after my mom passed away, I could not have gotten through those 2 years before I got married and moved away without you. Thank you for being Kylie's godmommy, for helping me raise Kitomio, for I guess I could say for criminal purposes, this may or may not be based on a real true story. But for, you know what I'm saying, go along with me and my shenanigans and all the things, the crazy things we did, the black hoodies, okay, that shell, you know what I'm saying? Those are secrets we will take to our grave. For, you know what I'm saying? For loving me and for just being there for me and Kitomio and for Kylie and Marcus. I am truly, truly thankful to my girl Allie, who said immediately as soon as I met her, within 30 minutes, she was like, I will watch your baby for you while you go to work in school. And I never met this lady before that day. Like, I shared my story. I literally poured my heart out. I'm crying at basketball practice, like boo-hooing. And she like, girl, I got you. And I'm like, but you don't even know me. She was like, it doesn't matter, from one single mom to another. Like, I got you. She babysit for all the whiny Fridays we used to have, for TGI Friday before Shonda Rhimes turned it into TGIT. That was my girl. And for all of those things, and just for being there for me. And to my girl Nay, who me and her got cussed out many a days by Peaches, okay? Minty of days, okay? When we was out there in them streets, baby, she like, I don't know who y'all think y'all is. I like, need to sit down somewhere. Think y'all supposed to go out every weekend. Literally, I thank her for, for sharing her mom with me when my mom was gone, and for being Kylie and KJ's TT Nene, for cooking for us, for babysitting, for rescuing me from the dangers of my grief, and for also riding with me, okay? Awesome nook if you book kind of things, you know what I'm saying? Like, where we going, we rolling up on. I thoroughly appreciate y'all. Listen, and these words don't seem like enough for everything that you guys did for me in those early years when I felt like God had abandoned me and my mom had left me. You guys reminded me that I was not alone, that God did not leave me. My mama did not leave me, because he gave me y'all. And here it is. That's been 15 years. You guys are still riding with me, still loving me. And for that, I truly, truly appreciate you. So Grief to Glory is also dedicated to you guys. And I just wanted to give y'all flowers now, because I believe that it's so important to let people know how much they mean to you while you can. So I appreciate y'all. And so before Jeff falls off his couch, let's open up these packages, okay? Let's open them up.
I wish I had some music. Dang. Renee said Peaches tore us up. Listen.
She did. Listen, y'all, but I tell y'all, the lady used to cuss us up one side and down the other. Baby.
Come on, Jeff,
and anybody who know my mama already know that was the truth, okay? Bianca and Octavia, they privy to the cussing, so they already a professional cusser, okay?
Professional cussers, yeah.
Rip it real good.
Go on, look for your name in the back, bro. Go on, look back there. See
Where's my name?
I'm so. Wait a minute.
In bold font.
I told Margarita, I told my wife the other day, I said I completely forgot what I sent to her. I forgot what I wrote.
Lord.
Yes.
Damn. Okay.
Woo!
It's a brief story.
It's a grief to glory.
Yes.
And those candles are from my best friend Joy. She has a candle company called Queen Sugar Candles. They smell amazing. So yes, shout out to my girl Joy
Oh,
from
yes.
Queen Sugar Candles. Follow her on Facebook and Instagram. Queen
My
Sugar
favorite part.
Candles.
Right now she's selling
That's all I
sugar.
need.
Right now or no?
Yeah. I feel you, homie. It's going down tonight. It's going down. Yeah. Oh, I love it.
I'm so proud.
Yes.
Y'all.
Oh man.
Can't wait to read it.
Thank you, Tiffany.
Yes, ma'am.
This candle.
Yay! Queen
candle
Sugar
is lit.
Candles. Yes! Yo, those candles are y'all. I literally got about 4 of them on my counter right now. Like
I'm
they're
gonna go order me
so
some right
good.
now.
Wow.
What can I
And
put
she
in my
also
bag?
has she also has wax melts as well. She has wax melts. If you love coffee, she also collaborated with a coffee company. I think it's called Three Brothers Coffee. She collabed with them. So she even has coffee smelling candles. Like y'all, it's awesome. Like she's awesome.
Yeah.
She's one of my favorite people. So yes. Yes.
This is awesome.
So go on, flip through the book and look at y'all names in there, okay? Y'all are so welcome.
I just need to read what I
Sign
wrote.
Oh my. Oh,
This is awesome.
I love it.
I'm so proud of you. I'm
Yes.
so proud of you. So
Oh
proud.
my God.
Listen,
Oh, yeah.
I love y'all and I really do appreciate it. I feel like you guys tied my book together so well because Jeff talked about, his grief from being, God transitioning him from a career that he had been in for years and years, and grieving that loss of and being obedient when God told him to do that, as well as losing both his mother and grandmother recently. And so for him to be able to, pour that out for me and my readers meant so much. And Bianca talked about grieving her mother before her mother even passed away from cancer. And, the things that come along with that, the grief before and after. And Octavia talks about feeling like an orphan because she has lost both of her parents within a few years of each other. So when I tell you, you guys brought a whole different voice and tied my book together so well because, it was needed. And I felt like it was such a great way for people to not only hear me, but to hear that grief comes in all kinds of different forms and fashion, and everybody handles it differently. We all grieve, but at the same time, we know what grief feels like, but we can't fully understand what the other person is feeling because it's different. The relationships are different. All of those things about grief are completely different, and so when God told me to write this book, I did it kicking and screaming, y'all. Like, I was like, nope, Lord, I don't know nothing about writing no book. And yeah, it's a no for me, dog. Like, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? And God was like, listen, you got to write this. And I'm like, no, nope, I'm not doing it. Hey, Jesus. I was like, nope, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I told Ashley, I was like, yo, I'm not writing this. How can I do this? Basically, and Ash and Mo told me, just get a notebook and write. And I was like, okay. And I literally just started writing. And God literally was writing this book for me. Even reading it back, I think to myself, are these really my words? Like, I know that God wrote this with me. Like I did not write it alone. And I had to go back into a place, you know what I mean, that I did not want to go, but it was necessary. It was necessary for
Mhm.
me to be able to do that, because I know that there are some people who God has assigned to me that are going to get some healing from my story and from my testimony. So I know that to be true. And I know that God is all over this thing, and that he literally, like literally was taking my hand, writing these things and doing these things. And so I'm so grateful that, you know what I'm saying? Even though I did it kicking and screaming, and God don't care nothing about that, long as I got it done. He's like, you gonna do it. Like literally. So
Right. Yeah.
listen, so to sit here and to be actually having a book with my name on it, like, and for it to be showing up in people like books. I called Ashley last night. I was like, girl, I wrote a book and the people done bought it. These people is buying these books, y'all. Like, what? Like, God, is you for real?
Wow.
Like, you let these people buy my book. Like, okay. Like, okay, God, listen. I'm sorry for
amazing.
even doubting anything you told me, because I'm
Right?
so grateful. Literally,
My
like,
first
totally
question,
grateful.
or my next question, I would say, is for the other authors or the co-authors. What did writing your chapter or your portion, what did it do for you where you are in your stage of the grief journey or life or whatever? Like, what did writing this do for you personally?
It was
It
was a reminder for me.
I was gonna pick you first too, Jeff. Come on.
It was definitely a reminder of me, because we tend to, like, in this grief process, we tend to forget the power of God and what he can really do with our emotions. And so just writing it was another reminder. Hey, like, Jeff, I'm in control. I got this. I know it hurts. I know the storm is powerful. I know you feel like the boat is about to collapse up under you, but I got you. I'm in control. I got this. The promise is still the promise. And that's what I said in the book. So it just was another form of reminder of me. And I always tell people, hey, look, the more you talk about it, the easier it becomes to deal with it, because we don't hear what we don't reveal. So it was definitely a
That's
form. So I
right.
thank Margarita for allowing me to just create another way, another avenue of reminding me what God is actually doing in my process.
So good. So good. Yes. Come on, Octavia.
Well, for me, it was more of a time of refreshing. I mean, of course, it brought back feelings, feelings that I didn't want to feel at the time.
Yeah.
But just being able to talk about how awesome my mom was and how awesome my dad was to me, it was a time of refreshing for me. And it made me grateful and just thankful to God of what I really had in them. Life wasn't always easy, but just the love they gave me, it just made me so appreciative. Um, I'm just appreciative of just their love and how much they cared, and just grateful to God. Death is hard. Grief is hard. I hear my mother-in-law talking now. She always says, death is cruel. It's just cruel. And so to have to get in a quiet space and to actually sit down, and now you are left alone with just you and your feelings,
Yeah.
and you got to write them down in a way that conveys what you're feeling to other people. I mean, it's a wake up. It's a wake up. But like I said, it just made me grateful for what I did have in them, and for the love and the memories that I still have and I forever have in my parents.
Amen. I love the reminder, the refreshing. Come on,
Yeah.
beyond.
Yeah, I told Margarita actually after I just started writing. I just started writing, and it was very therapeutic for me. Like it
Amen.
just really it really made me see like how far I've come. Like I don't think you ever
Mm-hmm.
finish grieving. You never complete the process.
Right.
It gets easier as the years go on, but you still grieve for your
Yeah.
loved one who's gone. So for me,
Mm-hmm.
it was just a very therapeutic process because it took me through the days when she was sick, from the time she passed to that time afterwards. So I know now I've learned better coping skills with it, and that I'm still gonna grieve her, but I'm still moving forward and trying to make her proud.
Yeah, amen. What I love is that none of y'all look like what y'all been through. Ain't God good?
Well, praise the
That
Lord.
part.
If this was September 2020,
baby.
you might have been saying something different about me.
Listen, I
Yeah,
might be in
I'm
here in a
telling-
bathrobe or something. You know what I'm
If
saying?
this was September 2020, y'all been on the floor.
I'm telling you,
Listen,
baby.
I am excited.
Woo.
I literally, yeah, to make it, to write about something as personal as grief, like that takes a lot of courage and it takes a lot of confidence. So I'm just excited that people will not only get to hear from Margarita in this book, but they get to hear 3 other voices from 3 different stages, 3 different places, and it kind of gives you a little more context, you know, a little bit to grief and where somebody may be, because like Bianca just said, you never stop, you never get done. It's a process. And I think what Margarita always teaches and coaches people is that, listen, this is a journey and you have to pace yourself. Give yourself the grace to grow through it so that you can actually get, you know, through your day. It's sometimes not so much about the end game. It's more so about right here, right now. And I love that she teaches that to people because it helps you to understand that, okay, listen, I got a whole lot on my shoulders and a whole lot on my plate. But the fact that I don't have to be the strong one for everyone, and the fact that I can actually give myself permission to process, that is something major. So how did you get to that place, Margarita, of saying, like, you know what, I'm not going to keep beating myself up. I'm not going to keep carrying all these bags on me. I'm not going to keep fussing at my family for stuff that they didn't, like you always say, they didn't have the tools to fix what I needed them to do. But how did you get to that place of like saying, okay, God, listen, something got to give. There got to be a better way than doing it this way.
I mean, it was over the summer. My husband had deployed, and I was like, okay, God, like, this is my time for me to heal myself. Cause I'm like, God, I don't want this anymore. Like, I don't want to hold on to this anymore. Like, literally, I've been wearing this grief thing like a badge of honor. And I have allowed so many other people to dictate my grief and how I grieve through it, because people were telling me that I was strong because I have a family and a kid, and you know, my mom's not here or whatever, but I felt nothing but strong. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was nothing strong in me that I felt like, because I couldn't grieve properly. So once my husband left, I was like, you know what? This is going to be my time, because God, I have allowed this grief to spill over into people, places, and things that it shouldn't have. It affected my motherhood. It affected my marriage. And I'm expecting things from my husband and kids that they aren't even aware of that I need, because I didn't know that I need them, because I put my needs and things in other people's hands. So when I kind of, you know, decided to heal myself and let myself literally let the grief go, it was like God began to move, because honestly, y'all, I was scared to give it to God, because this is all I've known for 15 years. And I'm like, God, who am I without this grief? Like, who am I without being able to grieve my mother? So it was kind of like, if I let this go, like, what I'm gonna do? You know what I mean? Like, who am I? Who am I going to be if I no longer house this thing on my shoulders? And God was like, first of all, stop putting labels, titles, and things on you that I never said any of those things about you. I never told you you had to be strong. I never told you, you know what I mean, not to tell your husband and kids exactly what you needed from them. Yeah. I never told you that this was your burden or cross to bear. But you have literally taken it on. And I'm like, every time I try to take it from you, keep you from dragging that cross, because I already did, you pick it right back up.
That part.
Like, every single time. And so I was like, okay, God, you know what? I'm just going to give it to you and let you do whatever it is, whatever I have to do, God. I'm just this coming year, I'm going to walk in complete obedience, no matter what that is, no matter how uncomfortable it makes me. I'm literally going to do it. And I was like, God, because I'm tired. Grief grief's my huge grief thing has been with my mother, but I've lost so many people in my life. My dad's, I've lost my brother, I've lost a nephew, and countless other people, grandparents, things like that. So I felt like, okay, this is who I'm going to be. I'm just going to be this sad girl grieving for the rest of her life. Like, that's just, you know what I mean? And I had almost conditioned myself to be okay with it.
Wow.
And God was like, that's not, we're not doing that.
It makes me think about that uneven exchange is what I like to call it. It talks about it in Isaiah 61, where it talks about, I'll give you beauty for ashes. It's like, God, that don't even make sense. But when we give him those things that no longer are conducive for the life that he created us to live, when we surrender the tough stuff and actually partner with him in this thing called life, things get a little bit better, So it's just taking that step to surrender and trust God to do the things that he literally can do. So the fact that you realize, like, listen, if I trust, let me just see what happens if I do that. I've tried it my way. I keep trying to carry this stuff and do all these things on my terms, but let's see what happens when I really see what God can do. And I'm pretty sure all of us success that he blows our mind every time. Like, dang, you really going to come through? Like, you really? Why are we even get surprised? Like, all right. But that is an amazing process. Like, what's the word? Mindset. Mindset is everything. So having the mindset of, I don't have to be the grieving girl forever. That's not my identity. That's not who I have to be. I don't have to be the sad one at work or at family functions. I don't have to be that person. So when you gave yourself permission for the joy of the Lord to be
that part,
when you gave yourself permission to not look like what you're going through, when you give yourself permission to actually enter the process of healing, that's when things start to shift a little bit. Right?
Absolutely.
Listen, this whole conversation is blessing me, y'all. I hope y'all, if y'all have questions, y'all that are watching, go ahead and post them in the chat box, and this lovely panel of authors will gladly answer y'all questions if y'all have any. I don't want y'all to think y'all just watching the TV. Allow ourselves to tell ourselves a different story, another narrative. That part, another.
That's it, Tisa.
That's good.
That's it. That's it. Listen, like Jeff said earlier, you can't heal what you keep hidden. If you keep hiding your grief, then you can't heal that thing. But unfortunately, a lot of times people don't want to hear that we're sad and that we're broken because they don't know what to do with that. Like, our friends and family don't know what to do with that. They don't know what to say. They don't know what to do. And so rather than make themselves uncomfortable and us even more uncomfortable, we say, oh, I'm okay. I'm all right. How you doing? I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Literally, like, that grief inside you is screaming like, girl, no, I'm not. Like, literally, like yesterday, I was like, Lord, if you take me in my sleep, I won't even be mad at you at this point, because this is rough and tough. Like, I won't do it, Lord. Like, I'm just not going to do it. And so, this is the thing. Like, I tell people, make sure you find yourself a grief witness, somebody who helps you witness your grief, somebody who knows what it's like to grieve, because then you guys will be able to say those things to each other that you can't say to someone who hasn't been in your shoes. They won't think you're crazy or weird or anything, or like, how dare you say that? I told someone one time, like, I was literally mad at God, and they was like, oh my God, like, how dare you say you're mad at God? And I'm like, I am. But the thing I learned is God don't care nothing about me being mad at him or being upset with him. He already knew I was going to be upset with him, but he also knew. He knew exactly. He understands, and he knew, you know what I'm saying? He knew exactly where I was, but he also knew where I was going to get to in this grief. He knew I was going to get to this moment where I was able to birth a book and share it with y'all and have y'all share y'all story. So I felt like he was like, I'm okay if you're mad at me. If you're mad at me, cool. Okay. You know what I mean? But what are we going to do about it? You know what I'm saying? What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do to not continue to be upset with me? You know what I mean? Or to be upset with your mother. I talk about it in the book where I was like, yo, like I said earlier, like I felt like my mother was a professional cusser. And I'm like, yo, why didn't cuss God out? Like, why you didn't tell him no? Like, you didn't want to go. Like, I don't understand. Like,
Yeah.
hello? Like, you told us no all the time. Like,
Yeah.
you couldn't tell him no. Like, I don't
Come on
understand.
back.
Like, sis, come on back. Like, tell him,
What
be
you
like,
doing?
nah, God, you're gonna have to send somebody else because I'm not ready. But it doesn't, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't work
Right.
like that. You know what I'm saying? So I think that, like Ashley said, once we give ourselves permission to grieve the way that we see fit, because listen, grief is not to be put in a box. It does not go in some kind of, crazy, like I said in the book, the 5 stages. You don't hit them 5 stages like XYZ. I'm going from A
Right.
to Z. Like them things, you revisit a couple of them things a million times.
Mm-hmm.
A million times. I thought I was over the anger stage and now I'm back. You know what I'm saying? And then people like, oh, you supposed to, you mean I'm supposed to accept that my mama called Jesus? Because, excuse me, I don't think so. I'm not never accepting that, Lord. Like, I don't care what you say. Okay, no, you or Peaches one gonna have to come sit on this bed and tell me that I'm supposed to accept this because it's not happening.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so I have circled
Right.
those stages a million and one times, and been there and done that or whatever. And the thing about it is I don't think I will ever stop grieving her ever. I will always miss her. But now I have the tools and the resources of how to get myself out of those places and spaces that no longer serve me in these grief streets. Like literally, like none of that stuff. And the reason why I decided to call my book Grief to Glory, because that day my mother died, she went to glory, but I went to grief.
Mm-hmm.
And I stayed in this huge, I like to call it like a washing machine cycle. Like I was in this washing machine just going round and round and round, kept getting wet, could never get myself in the spin cycle so I can get in the dryer.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, God, I don't know what how I want out. Like I want out of this. Like I literally want out. I don't want to be in this anymore. And I feel like because I was obedient to God, he was able to allow me now to see the glory. So I feel like my mother and I are both in our glory stage. She's in heaven and I'm in my glory stage on earth because I have finally given my grief to God. So now we are back on equal playing field. She can get this legacy that I birthed through this book, and I can get God's glory of being able to tell my story, being able to share my story with people, being able to heal people when I launch my coaching business. I think it's so important for people to have the support. We're not broken. If you're grieving, you're not broken. You don't need to be fixed.
That's right.
And my brother Jeff has
Right.
an
No, that's
amazing
right.
amazing brand called God Plus Therapy, because you can have Jesus in therapy too.
Okay, and you need them
You
both.
can have Jesus and therapy too.
Need
Like
Need
it's
them.
needed. You need them both.
Yes.
God gave these people the
Yes.
education and the knowledge to help us. Allow them to help
That's
you.
right.
Allow them to support you
Yes.
through your grief is so important. So don't think that, oh, I can't. I know in the African American community, when I was growing up, if people went to therapy, it was because they was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Child, they get a crazy check and they're going to see them crazy people. You know what I mean? But that is not what therapy is. It's an outlet for you, an unbiased opinion, someone who don't know you, don't know your struggle, but will walk you through that thing, walk
Right.
you through all of that stuff. You know what I mean? Like every bit of it. Like I think it's so important. So Jeff, you want to tell us about God Plus Therapy?
I mean, you nailed it. You nailed it. God Plus Therapy. This is not the platform for this. Okay, so I don't know
Just
why
gonna
you
say it, bro.
You know, like this is about you. All right, so it's not about me and God Plus Therapy. But since you did it, God knows. But no, God Plus Therapy is exactly what you just said. It's for those people who are literally tired of hearing the response. Just go pray about it. Because we just got finished praying about it, and now I got up. I still feel the grief. I still feel the
That
depression. I
part.
still
Yeah,
feel the
I'm gonna throw this
fear.
computer.
I still feel the doubt. I still feel all of these mental, these negative thoughts in my head. I'm still having them, even though I just prayed. Now I haven't eliminate prayer in my life. Or you might have people who say, you know what? I don't even know how to pray. I get paranoid when it's time for me to start praying, or my thought process, I'm thinking about TV or thinking about something else when I'm sitting down to pray, and I can't even focus long enough to pray. I don't even know what words to say when I pray. And so a lot of people, and I tell a lot of people, you have to have that faith, but then you put that work to it. You add that work to it, and that work is therapy, like my sister Margarita said. And therapy is not just you coming into an office for me, like sitting down talking to someone like myself, holding the clipboard, asking about your past. There is so many different forms of therapy. You got nap therapy. You got taking a walk in the park. You got taking a walk in the beach. A shower can be a therapy. You know, you're sitting around the campfire with your family making s'mores. That's therapy. You building a fort on Sunday evening in the living room. Therapy. Anything that brings you peace at that moment can be your form of therapy right now. The key is to have a conversation with God and have that right relationship with God so that you can find your right form of therapy. Me climbing a rock might not be Margarita's form of therapy. It might be therapy for me to go out and wash the car every Friday night before Margarita. It might be washing the bathroom on Saturday morning. You know, it's so many different forms of therapy, but it all does the same. And that thing it does, it brings you evidence that's going to strengthen your faith. And that evidence is going to bring is also going to strengthen your peace level. It's going to bring you closer to peace because you're doing something that's not allowing you to think about the adversity that you're going through or the stuff that you're trying to overcome, because adversity is going to come every single day. The enemy does not stop attacking. So what that means is we can't stop fighting back. We can never be in a point where we, you know what, I give up, you win. And then once he does that, now we have this clinical depression. Now we have PTSD. Now we have bipolar. And now we all these other different forms of mental health issues because we allow the enemy who doesn't stop attacking to attack our brains. And that's the first place he starts, is in our brain. Because you attack the brain, you got everything else in control. So if you really have doing the therapy that out there in the world, God is sitting here saying, yeah, you just talked to me, but you saying, God, I still feel this peace. I mean, I still feel this anger inside of me, or this turmoil inside of me, this depression inside of me. Why? And God's going to sit here and tell you, have you not utilized that beach down the street I just created? I created a whole beach for you, and it's nothing but peace there. Like, it's a whole park around the corner. There are bikes now. There's cities now where you can rent a bike and just ride around and then leave the bike right down the corner. And it's like so many things that we can do where people will just forget that I can actually get out this house and go do something for me to get the peace. Now, that's exactly what God plus therapy is, and it's something that you can really use when you're going through that grief.
I think the thing that you just said is do something. I always say you have to put shoes on your faith and walk this thing out. You can't continuously wait for God to do something. When God did his part, this world, he created you with everything that you need on the inside of you. And there's resources and everything here. And you got to do something. But you know, sometimes people get in that grief state and they become friends with grief because it gets attention. They become friends with grief because then I get to be the victim. You know, nobody really want to admit that they like being the victim, but like the attention because
you know what's funny?
Who they are, and they don't know who God created them to be. So grief be my identity because then people call me, people chat me, people care about me when I'm feeling that way. But what you said just cancel out every excuse that everybody can say, well, I don't do this, I can't have this. You have mobility in your limbs. Go out, go walk.
I tell a lot of my friends right now, since my mother and my grandmother passed, I completely understand Kanye right now. Completely understand the way he moves, the way he talks, just because of what you just said. Actually, like, I remember when I was going through the whole thing, and I think everyone here can remember these moments where that week of your phone was off the hook. Like, everybody, you okay? Let me send you some money. Let me make
you couldn't even keep up with the phone calls.
Keep up with the calls. I mean, for me, it was frat. It was my old teammates. It was high school teammates. It was my friends from college. It was everybody, church family. And I appreciate the love. I'm grateful for the love. So don't get it twisted. Definitely enjoy the love. But once that thing was over, after that month, it was done, like completely dead. And so
bone dry, like the Sahara Desert.
Right. So I'm sitting back thinking, I'm like, Kanye is a celebrity, a billion-dollar celebrity. So that means everybody was probably reaching out to him. So when it shut down for him, I'm pretty sure he was like, y'all, what about me? I'm still hurt.
Right,
I'm still grieving. I'm still grieving over here. Why y'all not look at me? Look at me. Look at me. So let me make sure I do stuff for people to look at me. And so I completely understand why he's moving the way he moves, the words he's using, the things that he's done, because the young man is still grieving his mother.
Yeah, he has not been the same since his mother passed. And I think a lot of times, even in watching somebody like Kanye, who is brilliant and super talented, super gifted in what he sent him to do, and allowing or identifying with him, like, dang, he's hurting. He's broken. Like, he's not crazy, y'all. He's hurt. And
because grief don't care how much money you got, how many friends you got, none of that stuff.
Does not care.
None of that.
That's right.
Like, absolutely nothing. Like, I mean, it's crazy because I think that a lot of times people have asked, like, okay, so what do you do and what do you say to somebody who's grieving? And I tell people, first, just be. Okay, just be there. That's it. You don't have to say anything in particular, and do what you would want someone to do for you if you were grieving. What would you want someone to do for you? What would you want them to ask you? What would you know what I mean? What are those things that you feel deep down in your belly, like, oh God, if this was me, this was what I would want. So do those things what you would want somebody. And sometimes it's just sitting on the couch with them watching TV saying nothing. The fact that you're close by, that you're near, even a text message saying, thinking of you, nothing else. Because no matter how many times you say you're sorry for my loss, that does nothing for me.
Hate that.
Okay. And I appreciate it. Don't get me wrong, but it does absolutely nothing for me. And please don't tell me they're in a better place, because the better place is right here with me. Okay. That does nothing for me either. Like saying those kind of things, things that people say, you know what I'm saying? Or everything happens for a reason. Well, what reason was that? Please explain it to me, because I don't feel like there's no reason that the good Lord should have came and took my mother.
You.
Yes, they still here with you, sis, but they don't talk back, okay? Like, they don't talk back, okay? Listen, like, okay, because if they do, first of all, I'm running out the room. Secondly, no, okay? but they don't talk back. And so sometimes saying those cliche things for people who are grieving, like, in our heads, we kind of like, just shut up. Please just shut up. Like, but it's impolite to tell you to shut up, but I really want to tell you to shut up.
My biggest one is that one, I'm sorry for your loss. It's like, what did you do? Like, you didn't do anything.
Like, why are you
apologizing for? Like, you didn't do anything.
Like, literally, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, literally pray for me. Like, pray for God to get me to a place that I can, first of all, begin the healing process, because you have to begin the healing process. You know what I'm saying? Not that God heals me because it's a process. Okay. I need to accept that I need to go through this process in order for God to heal me. Give me the tools and resources. Send me the people that I will need that will help me along this journey. Okay. And not the people who just want to call me so they can get on Facebook and be like, y'all pray for my friend, because y'all know her mama died. Like, you my spokesperson, you my PR person. I don't need that. Like, I don't need that. Okay. And when folks die, y'all, if you ain't their family, please don't put rest in peace before the family do. Please put rest in peace before the family. And listen, not only that, and do not. And okay, that and don't, and listen, God forbid something happen to me. Please don't put no angel wings on me and put me on a t-shirt. Okay. I don't want it. I don't want it.
On the steps going up to heaven.
No, sitting on the steps. You know what I'm saying? None of that, okay? Like, none of that. And don't get in them people comments and ask what happened. What difference does it make what happened or how they died? It's not gonna change the fact that they are dead. Okay, it's just a reminder.
This happened in the comments.
Yes, it's just a reminder that your person is gone. That's all it does for that person is remind me that they are gone. It does absolutely nothing for me. Drop off a basket on my porch. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Send me an edible arrangement.
Mhm.
Send me a gift card, a $5 gift card. Hey, when you feeling better, go get you some coffee on me. You know what I'm saying? When you feel like going out to dinner, here, I sent you, an Applebee's gift card or whatever because I'm thinking of you. It is so important. Just what Renee just said. Grief etiquette is so important. Like literally, Google it. There's
That's
so
right.
many things out there will tell you how to show a person who's grieving some etiquette. You know what I mean? Because it's hard. And also like
something that you put out, a grief etiquette.
a grief etiquette. Like
Because we need it.
so God has asked me to start this grief coaching business, and that's going to be part of the things that I talk about: grief etiquette, how to be a grief witness for somebody, how to literally be there for them. And listen, the most important thing that you can do for somebody who's grieving is get down on your knees and pray for them. Like really pray for them. Please don't say praying for you and that's the prayer. Because I see it all the time. Because I used to do it. Put them praying hands, the emoji, praying for you. I'd be like, Lord, you heard that? I prayed for them. That's the prayer.
So
Like,
the thing, Margarita, the thing I've done, what I've told people, I just say, just send me a message saying I love you. So my best friend, my best friend went to college with her husband. Him and I are literally living the same life. When I say literally living the same life, we got divorced. We had a son inside of our marriage. In our first marriage, we got married. He married my best friend. They had a daughter. I got married again, had a daughter to one of his good friends. His mother passed. Our sons were like 2 years apart. And so we literally, I would text him and say, I love you. That's it. And he'll text back, I love you too. And then we may text back, say, you good? Yeah, I'm good. And like we'll know, it's almost like this understanding, like you're going through stuff. And so I tell people, Jeff, I don't know what to say to you. Like, what do I do? Just text me you love me. That's it. That's all you have to do. Is just say, text me you love me. And another thing I was doing, what I do now is that when people text or say they're going through stuff, I don't say I'm praying for you. I stop right then and there. I say, whether it's a text message, whether it's a text
I will type out a prayer in about 2.5 seconds.
It can be like a real quick prayer. Dear Lord, we thank you for this moment right now, Lord. I just want to come to this person's life. Boom, amen.
Yeah.
Move on. Because now you know I'm literally praying for you.
Exactly. You don't have to have those altar call prayers.
It could be like 3 words, 3 sentences.
It could be 3 words. It can be like, God, watch over them. God, they need you. Those kinds of things. Like those prayers and those instant I love yous and I'm here. You know what I'm saying? And please don't say call me if you need me. Because honestly, what I need is my person not here.
Because
okay, and then you don't call.
The I love yous replace. It's so much for me personally. I don't know about you guys, but for me personally, it replaced. My mom used to do that all the time. It replaces that voice, like, oh, I'm still getting that I love you text message.
Somebody
it might not
loves
be from my mother, but I'm still getting that love that I used to get from her. So yeah.
Absolutely.
So we're coming up on our hour mark, y'all. What is one thing that you want somebody to take away from this book? Like, what is your hope? Because Margarita asked y'all, but y'all could have said no. So you agreed to the project. So clearly y'all partnered with the vision. So while you were writing, or now that it's a product available for purchase, what is one thing that you would hope or pray for the readers to receive while reading or when they finish this book? Bianca, we're gonna start with you this time.
Okay, that they are not the only ones going through it, because sometimes when you're going through it, you feel like it's no one in the world who can relate to you, no one else who is feeling the way you feel, but you are not alone. Yeah. And you have people praying for you. Like she said, get you a grief witness, learn grief etiquette, have friends who will pray for you, surround yourself with support, and do those self-care, get therapy, seek therapy. I wish I would have done it. If you are grieving, know that you're not alone and seek therapy.
Absolutely.
Good. Octavia?
My thing would be for you all to know that it's okay to just be. Whatever you're feeling in that moment, it's okay. It's all right. If you're sad, it's okay. If you're mad that they're gone, it's okay. If you don't want to deal with anybody for the day, holidays coming up, You don't want to eat no turkey and dressing and open up no presents and get around the Christmas tree and go riding and looking at Christmas lights. It's okay because
That's right.
people are so used to you being another way and they're so used to you being there, then they can't adapt to this new you at the moment. But I just
That's
want you
right.
to take the pressures off of yourself. Stop feeling like you have to appease everybody else and make everybody else happy and just be, because it's a part of the process. And if you keep looking over, like my brother said, if you keep hiding it, you will never
Yeah.
heal. You will never heal. So that's my advice. Just be whatever it is in that moment. Be that. Allow yourself to feel that in that moment.
That's good. All right, Brother Jeff.
Two things. I just lost one of my thoughts. Great. One of the things. I got it now. I'm back. I got it. So two things. The first one is that grief can be in so many different forms. Like that's why I started off mine with losing employment. Grief can be you losing a relationship, losing losing
That's
a
true.
friendship, losing a business partner, or even losing an idea. Someone stole the idea from you, and you can grieve that idea. So that's one thing I want people to realize, that hey, grief does not stop at losing an individual, losing a person in your life. Also, I'm grateful for Margarita allowing me to be the only male on it to speak to the men about dealing with grief and saying, "Oh, that brother is talking about grief. Okay, maybe I do need to talk about that thing, because men don't do that." And so I'm just grateful that God used me to
That's
say,
right.
"Oh, you know what? Let's speak to the men in this thing." And I know this is girl code, but I pray that some men see this and say, "You know what? Yo, I can talk about my grief now. Let me. I feel comfortable
That's
talking
right.
about it because that man is talking about."
Yes, that's major.
That's it.
That right there, our brothers, our men, they need to have the permission
Yeah,
and to
That's
grieve in the process. They're holding up the world literally, and while the world is uppercutting them, we giving them jabs. Like
yeah.
we got to do better. So Margarita, I'm gonna let you go last. We got a question, and then I'm gonna come back to you.
Okay.
So we got a question from our girl Tisa. It says, "How did y'all know you were on the other side of grief and you were beginning to heal?" Anybody can answer, y'all, but
To find the other side of grief. 2 weeks
that
2 weeks
I'm
ago.
still. I
Yeah.
mean, it's
I
never
don't think
ending.
I'm on the other side.
Yeah, you just have your good days and you have your bad
Yeah.
days, but I don't
yeah,
think you're ever on the other side of it. You learn how to deal with it and live with it.
I can easily tell you 2 weeks
Yeah.
ago, 3 weeks
Right.
ago, I was in my office and I had to put my head in my program director. It's like, I need to go outside. And I had to walk around my car 7 times and just take ownership of the emotion that I had. And it was the only thing that I could find to walk around 7 times was my car. So I'm gonna walk around it 7 times and I'm just gonna talk out loud and pray to God and just take ownership. So I don't know, like she said, I don't know if you ever get on the quote unquote other side, but what you do though, you become stronger with, okay, I'm in the moment right now. I'm in the moment. This is okay. I'm in the moment. Let me just do what I need to do to maintain this moment. Have the moment, don't let the moment have me.
that part. Identifying what the
Right.
moment is, right? And not shying away from it or allowing the moment to overtake you
Yeah.
is going to keep, like you said, walking with it, essentially, and it gets better. Thanks for the question, Tisa. She's the bomb.com.
That was an awesome question.
That's what she said. She said that's good. All right. All right, Margarita. What is the one thing, or not the one thing, but what is something that you hope and you pray that the readers will walk away? Like, I know there's so much that you would hope for people to take away from this process and this body of work, but what is something that you would want them to walk away from with?
Honestly, to remember that you don't have to be the strong one. For me, I forgot that I lost my mother. And I thought that I had to be strong for my son, for my siblings, for my nieces, for my nephew, and everybody else. And I forgot that I had this huge astronomical loss.
Wow.
And I deserved to grieve just like everybody else. I shouldn't have had
Yeah.
to put my grief on a shelf so that I could be there for everybody else, because then I left myself uncovered.
Amen.
I left myself uncovered. There was nobody to cover me because I was covering everybody else. So don't leave yourself uncovered. Don't leave yourself out there for the wolves, aka grief and his homeboys bargaining and depression and anxiety and everything else to come for you, because they will come for you
Yeah.
full force. And listen, you will be so ill prepared for the grief. There's no way to prepare yourself for it. I don't care how many books you read, how many scriptures you read, how much you even love God and know God. You will still be ill prepared for the process of grief. Like I had no
Yeah.
idea. And I grew up in the church, like go to church every Sunday, Wednesday, was there all the time growing up and love God, still love God, do you know what I'm saying? All of that stuff. But none of those things prepared me for this ride and this roller coaster that grief was going to take me on. And I don't even like roller coasters. So I was like, Lord, get me off.
You
Like,
need to
I
get
don't understand how people like them because, them roller coasters, your body be slanging against the door and stuff. That's how it
It's
feels
so
with me.
scary.
Like,
Yeah.
as soon as, but it's kind of like, as soon as you start to feel better and you feel like hope and happiness settles in your spirit, grief be like, no, sis, come
boom,
on
somebody
here.
send you a
You know what I'm
video of
saying?
you and your mom.
Boom. Exactly. Or
Yeah.
somebody will call you and be like, girl, let me tell you this story about you and your mama. And now you like, okay, you know, and I have
Oh,
learned, you gotta stop them people in their tracks. Be like, you know what? Today
Now you're
I
in the
do
middle of the
not
Today.
have
bathroom
the
floor crying.
mental. Exactly. Like today, I don't have the mental capacity to share stories with you today.
that's
I
right.
don't have the mental capacity today to relive those moments for you. It's okay to tell people no and be like, no, today is not the day. Today, I don't want to reminisce about my mom. I don't want to hear them
Yeah.
stories or whatever, because today I'm mad at her. Like today, I'm upset with her. Maybe tomorrow or when I feel better, I will let you know when I'm ready for those stories. But right now, I'm not ready for those stories. I cannot handle those stories at all. And it's okay for that. I think we have to normalize grief. It seems like grief and therapy, anxiety, and depression are so taboo. And people don't want to talk about them. People don't want people to know that I'm on antidepressants. I had to go to therapy and I had to do this. I've been on all of that, been there, done that, and still on those things because they help me. Okay, what do I look like grieving? And God literally hands me this tool for me to have for me to help get out of it. And I'm like, no, because I'm scared what these folks in these Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat streets gonna say about me. And I shouldn't even be worried about what these folks think about me. Only thing that matters is this journey that me and God is on.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, he is the one that's going to get the glory, and he is the one who can deliver you. Your friends, your grandmama and them, your cousins, aunties, uncles, they can't save you from this grief. They
Amen.
cannot
Yeah.
save you. It's not their job. It's a journey that you and God has to be on, and you have to, first of all, you
Amen.
have to let God in. Don't wait like I did. Don't wait like I did to allow God to come in and take this thing from you. Like literally, as soon as you start to feel that thing down in your shanana, as my sis says, okay, get some therapy, get some Jesus, get you some grief friends who understand you, who will answer whenever you call, no matter how crazy it is. I remember when Bianca and I both were pregnant with our last. I was like, girl, I don't want to do this without my mama. I don't want to have this baby without my mother. Like, how am I supposed to do that? Like, I don't know anything about raising babies. Like, I didn't
Yeah.
have one before, okay? Because
Right.
that's different. She was here to help me with this last one. But I'm like, I don't know
Right.
anything about
Right.
I'm gonna do this with her. But saying
Yeah.
those things to her and sharing my fears with her and my anxiety about it, she totally understood. She didn't judge me or anything of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Like she was there for me and expressed that she had some. So then I was like, okay, God, I'm really not alone. Like, okay, I'm not the only one feeling this. I'm not the only one who's literally out here on a limb. Like, God, come get me. You know what I mean? So I'm telling you, get you some grief friends, get you a safe space to share. If anybody who's grieving, have grieved, still grieving, I have a Facebook group called You Don't Have to Be the Strong One. I post videos, quotes, things. I'm going to be launching a coaching business soon for you all to come on. I can help you with your grief because listen, I can't help you with something that I've never been through. Okay. And I know what it's like. A lot of times people want to help, but they haven't been through it. So it's hard for them to help. Show yourself some grace. Be kind to yourself. Really, really be kind to yourself. Okay. Self-preservation. Because listen, I can't give you something that I'm not giving myself. Okay. So if I'm not giving myself peace and grace and love, I can't give that to you. And if I'm not giving it to myself, and don't give people them things and then you ain't, you know what I'm saying, literally hitting you in the chest for yourself. You know what I mean? A lot of times we give people what we really don't have to give. But we muster it up, but we won't do the same for ourselves. So you have to put you first. And when it's grief, it's okay to put yourself first. It's okay. Even if that means, listen, learn your triggers too. Because some of your triggers may be people. There are people in your life who trigger your grief. And if they do, then back up from them. I'm not saying you got to get rid of them and never talk to them ever again. But for that moment, be like, listen, right now, you trigger some things in me that I just can't handle right now. And if those people don't understand that, them not your people anyway.
Come on.
Those are not your people. If they don't understand that you're grieving and you got to put yourself first because you got to take care of yourself because you have husbands, kids, and friends and family, you know what I mean, that you want to be there for, then those aren't your people. Listen, I'm telling you, triggers are people too. I've had plenty of people in my life who trigger me, and guess what? We'll holler. Like, because I have to take care of myself first. I can't put those people's needs and them and what they got going on above my own. You know what I mean? This is how I feel like I stayed in it so long because I put other people's needs and what they needed from me above mine. But to God be the glory, because here I am today with y'all and all these people online sharing what God has done for me. Like literally, like I'm so appreciative for my sister Ashley for hosting this for us. I am even more grateful for Jeff and Bianca and for Octavia for saying yes to God and saying yes to me in this book. If you haven't bought it, please buy it. The link is in the bio. If not, inbox me on Facebook. And I'm just so grateful for this moment. I feel like this is a full circle moment for me. I feel like, God and my mama up there, like, yo, my mom, like, look at my baby, God, look what she did. She down there wrote a book. Like, you see that? Like, he like, yeah, I told her to. You know what I'm saying? Like, and she like, listen, I feel like if there was money in heaven or something, my mom be up there like, hey, y'all need to buy my baby book. God, get them $15 so they can buy my baby book. Okay, get them $15. Like, okay, is it an ATM up here? You got a credit card or something? Cash App, all that, PayPal, Venmo. What you need? I truly believe that, and I do believe. Just mom, his grandmama are smiling down.
They are sitting on the porch of your mama's mansion, drinking coffee. People come say, "Look, my baby's done did it. My baby's done did it."
That's it. I know Miss Carolyn and my favorite cat daddy is up there. You know what I'm saying? Holding hands, rocking, looking at their baby Tay-Tay. And I know Brenda Gale up there looking fabulous, y'all, because Brenda Gale was a fashionista. Okay, I wanted to be like,
come on.
Summertime, crop top, baby, and some okay, I really wanted to be Brenda Gale when I was little. Like, literally, okay, always a fashionista. So I know that they are all proud that we allowed God to use us and we were obedient. And I really, the word saying thank you doesn't seem like enough for you guys to go into a place that I know was hard to go into and to do this for me. I seriously appreciate y'all more than I could possibly tell you right now. I truly appreciate y'all.
So before we close out, we're gonna pray. But can you just flip? Oh, you got a copy with you, Margarita?
I do.
Flip it open and just read whatever page it drops. And then we're gonna pray and get out of y'all way. Thank y'all for tuning in and joining us tonight for the I See You Sis segment.
I already opened my candy.
Y'all give him.
Oh, okay, so it says, according to the World Wide Web, aka the internet, there are 5 stages of grief. It can be said that not everyone will experience all 5 stages, nor will they go through them in a certain pattern or order. Grief is very fluid, ever-changing, heavy, non-linear, individualized, unique, and reflective of your relationship with the person you're grieving. It is pain and love intertwined and woven together in heartache and despair. You can't put grief in a box. There's no rhyme or reason to how it flows through you. The 5 stages of grief can be very inadequate in describing the roller coaster ride that is grief. Like, I don't even like roller coasters, y'all. Who would get on something that has their body jerking and slamming all over while your heart is dropping into your stomach? Nah, son, not me. Let me off. Okay. Back to my point. I was in for a rude awakening thinking that grief was supposed to happen in some pattern or stages in some numerical order. It was like, first, you're going to be in denial about your person dying. Psych. Okay. Because nothing felt more real than seeing her lifeless body in a hospital bed. Those thoughts and feelings were short lived and manifested differently. During the denial stage, my denial involved my relationship with God and the spirit of why. Then after I was supposedly in denial, I would be angry. And my God, was I angry? Sidebar. Jesus fixed it. Oh, and then I'm supposed to bargain with God to send her back to me. Duh. It doesn't work like that. Oh, and now since I can't bargain with God, God about to bring her back. Here comes bargain, little ugly cousin, depression. I can't stand depression, little snaggletooth tail. Man, depression can kick rocks barefooted. It took so much from me and still does, and that's okay. God is getting all the glory in the end. I know I've come out on the other side of depression, but it likes to show up like the auntie nobody likes because she always want to borrow money. Ain't God good? Thank you, Jesus, for your covering. Now, last but certainly not least is acceptance. I am now supposed to be at a place where I have fully accepted that not only are you gone, but you're never coming back to earth. I mean, I'm okay, but I'm not okay. Sidebar. Y'all know what I mean. Listen, this book right here is my ode to God and grief and my mom. And it is my entire heart poured into these 70 pages, along with Jeff and Octavia and Bianca, sharing their space and time with you all. So if you're grieving, if you know somebody who's grieving, please purchase this book. And I hope and pray that if you see yourself, if you see somebody in it, just know that you will come out on the other side. And don't put yourself on a time frame. There's no time frame for grief. You can't say, I want to be out of this in 6 months. Or I want to be out of this in 3 months. That's not how it works. God will bring you out when He's ready for you to come out. And maybe like me, you have to share your story in order to come out on the other side. God needs for you to give your heart to the people. And so I gave my heart to people in this book, and I hope that you see my heart in this book. I hope that you see my mother's love in this book, and I hope that you see God's glory in this book.
Amen. And don't just here's my thing. Buy the book and give it to somebody. You don't necessarily have to buy it for yourself. Sometimes God will put you in the path. You may have just clicked on this live and don't know nothing that's going on. But order the book and you never know how your step will be ordered. You know? Get it and you may have to gift it to somebody. You may something's always happening. So if you feel led to buy it, buy it. It may not speak to you in this moment, but it can definitely speak to somebody else's heart that may need it at this moment, you know? So don't just feel like, oh, I gotta buy it because I want to support Margarita. Yeah, support all these authors, okay? But also don't just hoard the gift. Because there's something in that book. There's a key in the book that somebody may need as well. Yes. I hope y'all enjoyed this segment of I See You Sis, highlighting the fabulous Margarita Hill, author of From Grief to Glory. Bianca, Octavia, thank y'all for sacrificing a little bit of y'all Sunday to join us and chit chat and share your hearts so freely. How you did it. somebody saying something. Purchase it even if you haven't experienced loss, because if you keep living, you will experience loss, grief, and depression. Exactly.
Okay.
You better tell them. You better tell them, y'all. That's my big sister right there. You better tell them. You better say it.
You may not need it today, but you may need it another day. Okay? And somebody else may need it.
You gonna grief the loss of your keys in the morning.
Right.
You gonna need to reach.
Okay. I can't find them.
I can't find my keys.
Somebody gonna be like, "Where you last seen them?" If it was where I last had them at, I wouldn't be looking. Okay.
That part.
Grief etiquette.
I cannot. The grief etiquette.
Don't ask
Y'all
me
get that PDF, y'all. It's gonna be up on her website by the end of this week. Period.
Yes, etiquette. Yes, it will be a PDF on my website this week because my sister gonna hold my feet to the fire and make sure that I get it. Okay, listen.
Y'all make sure y'all go. Margarita, tell me your website. Jeff, tell me your website. Bianca, Octavia, if y'all got stuff you want to share, this is your moment, and we want to So come on.
Yes, and so I know my brother not gonna do it because he swears this my moment. But listen, I believe that you know what I'm saying. When God do a thing, He do a thing. So go check out my brother's Instagram page, God Plus Therapy. He gives tips and tools for what is therapy and not just going to see a therapist. As he mentioned, there are so many different things that you can do for therapy. But please check him out. He's awesome, man of God, and I appreciate him so much. Like literally, I literally appreciate him. And I want to tell the wife happy birthday. And I appreciate
I'm taking a much needed nap right now. When she get up, it's time for dinner. I'm hungry.
So that you could come and do this for me. Bianca is an educator. She used to be a social worker. And now she's a wonderful teacher. And she used to be a teacher too. And now she's holding down the fort as an amazing mom and stay-at-home mom and wife. And so listen, I just thank y'all. If you want to order the book,
she's an author. Come on.
And y'all are authors. Jeff was like, I'm gonna tell everybody I'm a little author. Like,
I'm an author now.
You are a whole author. Okay,
add it to the resume.
That's going on the resume.
Exactly. Thanks. Okay. So if you want to order my book, you can go at bit.ly /grief to glory. There's a 2 in the middle of grief and glory. And as I said earlier, I'm going to be launching a coaching business soon where I'm going to coach people through their grief. I think it's so important. God has told me that this is my purpose and that I have some healing power in me to be able to help people heal, to be able to support people. I am not operating in a therapist. I am just wanting to support you and let you know that you're not alone. You don't have to be the strong one, and give you the tools and resources that you need to be able to grieve properly. I want to teach you how to change your mindset. I want to teach you how to breathe work exercises so that you can know how, if you're in the middle of the grocery store and you thought you heard your mama in the grocery store or your grandma, and you're literally like, I cannot, you know what I'm saying? Like break down in this grocery store because these people gonna call 911.
Listen,
I know how much ambulances come, even if they have to show up. Okay, so I don't want you to do that. So I want to give you the tools and resources and show you how to breathe through that until you get to a safe space to breathe. Listen, please stop holding this stuff in. You got to let it out. Find you a safe space, a safe person to allow you to grieve and scream no matter what that looks like. Find you a safe space to grieve, okay? You can, if you need a place, you don't have to be the strong one Facebook group. Please join me over there. I have some awesome and amazing things coming. And I just thank y'all for joining us tonight and for this amazing time. Like my heart is so full. Like Ashley already know I'm gonna cry when we get off of here because it ain't cute to cry online. Okay. Them people, them people who be crying, take a picture of themselves crying on Facebook, and you be like, now why you did that? If you had time to take a picture, you ain't crying. Ain't that wrong?
I drops in your face.
I don't want to be crying. I don't want to be crying. Okay. But I just appreciate y'all and everybody watching for sharing this moment with me. So for real, I'm a whole author out here in these streets, okay?
I'm a whole author. I'm done. Story shirts. So y'all, thank you for tuning in. Thank you to my special guest tonight for kicking off this segment of I See You, Sis. I'm so excited we got to chat today and to highlight Glory. I'm excited that everybody has to open their boxes finally and get their good. I need to go order me some candles. But y'all, be sure to follow Margarita, order the book. Make sure you get God Plus Therapy as well. And be sure to follow us here for the next I See You Sis segment. Actually, we're doing a Girl Code live chat on Tuesday at 8 p.m. to recap about the conference. So Margarita will be back on here again on Tuesday to talk about the conference.
Now she let me talk to the people, honey, at the conference. I was like, come on, girl, hey.
Margarita got on the panel, Jeff. She was on the panel and she did good, okay? She did good. So we're going to pray and get out your way. Father God, we just thank you for this opportunity that we have to just come together in friendship, oh God. We thank you that your presence is indeed a presence, God. I pray, oh Lord, that you will heal the brokenhearted, God, and line up their wounds, Lord. You are Jehovah Rapha, God. You're the God that heals, oh God. You are Emmanuel. You are El Shaddai. You are Jehovah Gamula. You are everything that we need you to be, oh God. So I thank you, God, for those that have come on this broadcast live and those that will watch the replay, God. Wherever they may find themselves in the stages of grief, oh God, may they find you right in the middle of it with them, oh God. May your will be done in us and through us. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 Have a good one.
You guys.